but Yeah, please, for all the press houses that are connecting, I noticed about five of you have connected before. Just put beside your names, um, your your press houses in parentheses. Thank you.
Ele está dizendo colocar você entra lá no Zoom e você vai ver onde você pode colocar perto do seu nome o seu mídia. Obrigado.
Yeah, maybe you want to do that interpretation again, Pastor Commando, so that he will get it. There was an interruption.
Yes, that's what I just done.
Yes, for all those who are coming in from the press houses, in parentheses or in bracket, do you just want to put the house you're representing? Thank you.
Jalia, você entendeu o que eu falei?
Sim, já estamos recebendo o sinal. Pastor Lívio, já estamos recebendo o sinal e ouvindo a participação de todos. E também já estamos transmitindo aqui pela TV Falar Guarulhos. Quando o pessoal para de falar um pouquinho, eu entro e falo a transmissão. Estamos aguardando aí a palavra do senhor presidente, Dr. Samuel SAKO, direto dos Estados Unidos.
Our vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real war horse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands, and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all round the clock 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amber TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian stroke African movies, global politics, ABC Amber News and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amber News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, intro governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, Fronting IG and People of Ambazonia's position, the Struggles Weekly Update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASC. Health is Wealth, Health Education and Awareness within the Ambazonian community with Dr. Yaya. Liberation Prayer, an intercessory ministry for Ambazonia with Pastor Victor Mba. Our Freedom, spiritual awareness and education for the Ambazonian community with Pastor Victor Mba and Pastor Commando. Church and Politics, neutralizing the myths and preconceived religious and political philosophies that limit the Christian involvement in the realms of decent politics with Pastor Commando. The Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman with Dr. Patience Abiedo and Lady Casey. Our Amber History, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Ambazonia to the world with Pastor Commando. Appointment on community building, education on patriotism within the Ambazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Ethics for an Emerging Nation, watchdog of basic principles and morals of a nation at war with Ma Dorothy Ngwa. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amber Focus, only on ABC Amber Television. We the people, the voice of the voiceless. For 24/7 access, subscribe as a club member on www.abcambertv.com/subscribe.
vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real war horse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands, and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all round the clock 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amber TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian stroke African movies, global politics, ABC Amber News and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amber News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, intro governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, Fronting IG and People of Ambazonia's position, the Struggles Weekly Update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASC. Health is Wealth, Health Education and Awareness within the Ambazonian community with Dr. Yaya. Liberation Prayer, an intercessory ministry for Ambazonia with Pastor Victor Mba. Our Freedom, spiritual awareness and education for the Ambazonian community with Pastor Victor Mba and Pastor Commando. Church and Politics, neutralizing the myths and preconceived religious and political philosophies that limit the Christian involvement in the realms of decent politics with Pastor Commando. The Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman with Dr. Patience Abiedo and Lady Casey. Our Amber History, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Ambazonia to the world with Pastor Commando. Appointment on community building, education on patriotism within the Ambazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Ethics for an Emerging Nation, watchdog of basic principles and morals of a nation at war with Ma Dorothy Ngwa. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amber Focus, only on ABC Amber Television. We the people, the voice of the voiceless. For 24/7 access, subscribe as a club member on www.abcambertv.com/subscribe.
and gentlemen of the press, as soon as the president is connected to the Zoom meeting, we will start with Dr. Mungwa's address. For those who will be coming late, we promise to give to you the recording so you can do your post report. Thank you. Kindly be patient.
Our vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real warhorse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands, and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all round the clock 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amber TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian/African movies, global politics, ABC Amber News and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amber News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, intro governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, Fronting IG and People of Ambazonia's position, the Struggles Weekly Update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASC. Health is Wealth, Health Education and Awareness within the Ambazonian community with Dr. Yaya. Liberation Prayer, an intercessory ministry for Ambazonia with Pastor Victor Mba. Our Freedom, spiritual awareness and education for the Ambazonian community with Pastor Victor Mba and Pastor Commando. Church and Politics, neutralizing the myths and preconceived religious and political philosophies that limit the Christian involvement in the realms of decent politics with Pastor Commando. The Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman with Dr. Patience Abiedo and Lady Casey. Our Amber History, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Ambazonia to the world with Pastor Commando. Appointment on community building, education on patriotism within the Ambazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Ethics for an Imagination, watchdog of basic principles and morals of a nation at war with Ma Dorothy Ngwa. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amber Focus, only on ABC Amber Television. We the people, the voice of the voiceless. For 24/7 access, subscribe as a club member on www.abcambertv.com/subscribe.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, once again, I come to you to apologize for the delay. The president will be joining us in the next 15 minutes, but we will start exactly 10 minutes from now. Thank you for coming, and we plead for your patience.
Our vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real war horse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands, and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all round the clock 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amber TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian / African movies, global politics, ABC Amber News and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amber News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, intro governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, Fronting IG and People of Ambazonia's position, the Struggles Weekly Update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASC. Health is Wealth, Health Education and Awareness within the Ambazonian community with Dr. Yaya. Liberation Prayer, an intercessory ministry for Ambazonia with Pastor Victor Mba. Our Freedom, spiritual awareness and education for the Ambazonian community with Pastor Victor Mba and Pastor Commando. Church and Politics, neutralizing the myths and preconceived religious and political philosophies that limit the Christian involvement in the realms of decent politics with Pastor Commando. The Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman with Dr. Patience Abiedo and Lady Casey. Our Amber History, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Ambazonia to the world with Pastor Commando. Appointment on community building, education on patriotism within the Ambazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Ethics for an Emerging Nation, watchdog of basic principles and morals of a nation at war with Dorothy Ngwa. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amber Focus, only on ABC Amber Television. We the people, the voice of the voiceless. For 24/7 access, subscribe as a club member on www.abcambertv.com/subscribe.
Undaunted ABC Amber News is a vision that was birthed from the president's audacity and vision for the nation of Amazonia. That's why we call it Undaunted, unwavering. We thought that during such a time, we will not come to do the obvious. It's true that our motto is to bring into the news untold stories.
Months of diplomacy have failed to resolve the crisis as fear grows over an imminent Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Queen of England is aware that the British Southern Cameroons were never a colony under France.
When the mystery idea of Ambazonia being too small to be an independent nation came up,
our strategy initially was to focus on war news. That's actually the main aim of Undaunted, and the director, Maendele, who is a veteran journalist and has a wide understanding of how the media plays out, agrees with this vision at least by 100%. We actually started based on that, but it was unfortunate because it was not easy to have to get our community I'm talking about the Amazonian diasporic and the territorial community to sync with the fact that the state TV will be focused on doing world news.
We favor school resumption once parents and school authorities are able to ascertain the security of the children and teachers.
Without this, there is no economy.
And in sports, we told you that Manchester United agrees 80 million euros deal for Ajax winger.
The kind of news we want to do, choosing the kind of personalities that will represent the message, was also a concern. We had the possibility of choosing whoever we wanted. The board and partners and patrons were committed to make sure that they could provide the necessary logistics. But knowing who we are, considering the actors of the world, it was kind of challenging. When we finally got in touch with the people we got, I thought we were supposed to start that way. I'm very much aware of their strengths, which I appreciate and respect so very much, and I'm also very conscious of some of their weaknesses. Onye was the first person I decided early last year that I was going to work with her. From the moment I decided I was going to work with her, I knew exactly what were her strengths, and I'm not ignorant of her weaknesses. One of the aspects of her strength was her courage and that willingness to live the story, to grow in the story.
Party is a potpourri of everything. He's now
Payment method: www.abcambertv.com/donate. ABC Amber TV payment channels: Cash App 202-650-2216, Zelle 240-486-8768, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. PayPal donations at abcambertv.com. For more details, call +124 028 43 111. You can email us at info@abcambertv.com. Payment method: www.abcambertv.com/donate. ABC Amber TV payment channels: Cash App 202-650-2216.
Our vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real warhorse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands, and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all round the clock 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amber TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian/African movies, global politics, ABC Amber News and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amber News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, intro governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, fronting IG and people of Ambazonia's position, the Struggles Weekly Update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASC. Health is wealth, health education and awareness within the Ambazonian community with Dr. Yaya. Liberation Prayer, an intercessory ministry for Ambazonia with Pastor Victor Mba. Our Freedom, spiritual awareness and education for the Ambazonian community with Pastor Victor Mba and Pastor Commando. Church and Politics, neutralizing the myths and preconceived religious and political philosophies that limit the Christian involvement in the realms of decent politics with Pastor Commando. The Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman with Dr. Patience Abiedo and Lady Casey. Our Amber History, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Ambazonia to the world with Pastor Commando. appointment on community building, education on patriotism within the Ambazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amber Focus, only on ABC Amber Television. We the people, the voice of the voiceless.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, good evening and welcome. Good afternoon for those who are using the Eastern time. Thank you for coming. The Secretary of State will open this session.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to this second international press conference. On behalf of the interim government, can you hear me?
Very loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. On behalf of the interim government and the Ambazonian people, I would like to welcome our international press colleagues to this very important press conference. The story of Ambazonia is a long one, and many people do not know that Amazonia was the first country in Africa to have fair elections as far back as 1954, and the incumbent took over without a single person being killed. But since then, ever since, apparently, there was this um, so-called unification with La République du Cameroon. We have never seen peace. Nigerians who are here will remember that on 1st October 1961, the two countries had independence. And the question today is it possible for a country to have independence twice? And that's why we are holding this press conference today. We want to inform the international community to understand that Ambazonia, or what they used to call British Southern Cameroons, was independent on October 1st, 1961. And therefore, there is no need for any referendum. A referendum only occurs within the boundaries of a unified country to determine whatever constitutional change they need. We don't need it because we are not part of La République du Cameroun. They reinstated their home or their country in 1984 when they declared that the country was no longer a federal republic, neither was it a united republic, but the Republic of Cameroon, which is exactly the name of the country prior to any plebiscite conducted between the two, in southern Cameroon. So today, we are going to have an elaborate discussion on this subject. So let the international community understand where we are coming from. Ignorance cannot be justified at this time because there are so many people, spoilers or paid spoilers, and blacklists and all sorts of people who go around trying to sell the idea of a referendum. We don't agree with that. And we have the legal background, at least we have intellectual knowledge to explain to the people or to explain to the world that we are not practically and in every sense of it part of La République du Cameroon. This press conference today is an important one. And I would like to thank those who have been involved in preparing this press conference. We have Professor Bridget Thibault, who is one of our outstanding scholars. We have a news director who will be chairing this discussion today, and all those who have provided help one way or the other to make this possible. So I would like to, turn over to Professor Bridget Thibault to read us a statement from the interim government. Thank you. Over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, good morning and welcome. It is always a delight having you with us for a conversation during such critical times in our history. I am Professor Bridget Thibault from the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, USA, and I'm also the Executive Assistant to the President, Federal Republic of Ambazonia. On behalf of the peoples of Southern Cameroons, aka Ambazonia, and its leadership under the mandate of His Excellency, Dr. Samuel Ekome SAKO, I wish to thank you very much for your presence here today. You are well aware that the 6 years long war in our homeland, Southern Cameroons, that was forced upon us was based on unaddressed, long-standing grievances dating back to the 1960s or the colonial era, when we peacefully requested reforms, primarily in the education and judicial sectors. The colonial government's response was brutal. Several protesters were arrested and detained. By early 2017, the peaceful agitation had morphed into an armed conflict, an existential conflict for us, given that we have the duty to ensure our existence within the community of nations of the world. The Republic of Cameroon's president, Paul Biya, has labeled us terrorists and has been disinclined to any form of honest and or inclusive mechanism to end the war. According to him, awarding us a special status would be a way out of the carnage. And one wonders what that special status really means. You are also aware that the Republic of Cameroon boycotted the Swiss-led mediation after pretending to be a party of it for over 2 years. Most recently, they deceived some individuals within our community and the Canadian government on pre-talks, only to turn around and deny their own participation at the said talks. Our people on the ground remain the victims. La République du Cameroon forces of occupation have continued indiscriminate arrests, killings, torture of civilians, and razing or burning down whole villages. Impunity remains the order of the day, encouraging the abusers, fueling further violence and harm, and prolonging the conflict. Human rights reports, UN High Commissioner for Refugees, and other NGOs have consciously reported, I might add with great underestimation of the overall collateral damage. More than 45,000 of our people have been wasted, to say the least. More than 2 million displaced. Even as we speak, some have recently died in the oceans of Antigua. while trying to escape from that war. And we wonder why the media mostly reported without seriousness. Unfortunately, this onslaught of genocidal proportions somehow remains one of the highly underreported wars in recent times. As for the reasons for this silence, your guess is as good as mine. French Cameroon's rhetoric, which has engulfed mainstream media, has been very unfair. The gimmick is to misinform, disinform, and manipulate. One of such that we have identified is the question of a referendum proposed as a way to end the conflict. And that will be our main focus for today. The interim government's position on the issue of a referendum is as follows. To all Ambazonians and internal and external stakeholders, there are divergent views and proposals among stakeholders, both international and externally, on how to resolve the ongoing conflict in southern Cameroon's, aka Ambazonia, that has resulted in an unprecedented 21st century genocide perpetrated by the Biya regime of the Republic of Cameroon, or La République du Cameroun. Among these divergent views is a proposal for a referendum to be held in the territory of southern Cameroon's former UN Trust territory under the United Kingdom administration, in order to determine the future of southern Cameroon's, aka Ambazonia. Cognizant of UN General Assembly Resolution 1608, paragraph 25 of the 21st April 1961, granting independence to the UN Trust territory of southern Cameroons, and the subsequent non-execution of all the processes of decolonization prescribed therein. The interim government, representing the aspirations of an overwhelming majority of Ambazonians, has been clear and consistent in articulating the basis of the root causes of the southern Cameroon's problems, which is the non-execution in its entirety of the above-mentioned UN resolution, thus paving the way for the annexation and recolonization of southern Cameroons by La République du Cameroun in 1961. Therefore, complete decolonization is what we seek. And this involves complete restoration, absolute sovereignty, and recognition of southern Cameroon's, aka Ambazonia, as the 55th state of Africa. We believe a plebiscite, a non-binding survey of our opinions by the United Nations, is an acceptable democratic process to ascertain the majority view of southern Cameroonians or Ambazonians since the last plebiscite of 1961. If there is any doubt about the majority's position, we object to any proposed referendum on grounds that it presupposes falsely that southern Cameroon is a part of La République du Cameroun and is seeking to secede as an independent country. We were granted independence in 1961. It was only the joining that did not take place legally, and the Republic of Cameroon withdrew from that union project in 1984 when they reverted to their original name prior to 1961. We have never been part of the Republic of Cameroon, so we do not need a referendum to decide if we can separate from a non-existing union. Also, a binding referendum will exclude the genuine dialogue we need to address the root causes of the conflict because it is based on winner takes all. We are not fighting to change the form of government in the Republic of Cameroon or La République du Cameroun. We are not also fighting for constitutional changes within the Republic of Cameroon or French Cameroon. We are fighting against annexation and recolonization. We are defending our restored independence. Annexation cannot be resolved through a referendum because it is either a right or wrong issue, just as the solution for rape is not marriage. No, we do not need a referendum to tell right from wrong. We need the international justice system activated properly or negotiated settlement without preconditions. You are aware that after World War I, British Southern Cameroons, as well as French Cameroon, became a League of Nations mandate. From 1922 to 1945, they both became mandated territories. This historical background is essential to understand why we are here today. After 1945, both mandated territories became trusteeship territories under the United Nations, as stipulated in Chapter 12 and 13 of the United Nations Charter. The trusteeship system dealt with the supervision of non-self-governing states designated as trust territories. And that was what we were, a trust territory. The basic objective of the ITS, International Trusteeship System, as declared by Article 76 of the UN Charter, was the promotion of the political, economic, social, and educational advancement of inhabitants in the trust territories and progressive development towards self-government. The trusteeship agreement, which brought British Cameroons under the ITS, was approved on 13th December 1946. The UN, having recognized Southern Cameroon's sovereignty, didn't give a referendum at that time. Rather, they gave the peoples of Southern Cameroons a plebiscite. A plebiscite is a consultation of opinion. It wasn't a referendum. It wasn't law. If the UN thought we were not autonomous, but just a tiny part of La République du Cameroun, they would have, at that time, given us a referendum. During that plebiscite, given the limited choice available to British Southern Cameroons, they entered into a trial relationship of a federation of two states of equal status, because French Cameroon got its independence on 1st January 1960, while British Southern Cameroons got her independence on October 1st, 1961. If that is not proof that we are two separate states, I don't know what else can demonstrate that. A plebiscite presupposes that we are two different people seeking to establish our sovereignty. Note that Article 47 of the Federal Constitution between these two states of equal status provided that the federal form of the state shall never be adulterated or changed. And that is exactly where the problem is. In 1972, the French Cameroon unilaterally organized a referendum with one ballot option, oui. And yes, which means the exact same thing. For those who don't understand French, oui means yes. Not only was it a one ballot option, French Cameroon was invited to participate. Imagine the British trying to exit from the European Union and everybody, every European nation invited to participate in Brexit. That is not possible, but that is what happened. And this explains why we say the entire process from the get-go was fraudulent and flawed. If the UN wants to serve the majority opinion on this issue, they should conduct another non-binding plebiscite in the Southern Cameroons, not a referendum. This is the threshold position of the people we represent. Therefore, any views or proposals that seek to mask the status quo of Southern Cameroon's colonial status under the Republic of Cameroon is far-reaching and do not represent the aspirations of the overwhelming majority of Ambazonians or Southern Cameroonians as far as this liberation struggle is concerned. Furthermore, the reasonable immediate way forward to end this conflict, supported by the international community and external stakeholders, is a genuine all-inclusive dialogue or mediated negotiations process without preconditions. The interim government, under my leadership, has advocated for the process, which was spearheaded by the Swiss, but the Republic of Cameroon failed to commit. To concretely resolve this conflict, therefore, and subsequently resolve the issue of the sovereignty of Southern Cameroons, aka Ambazonia, once and for all, another plebiscite preceded by internationally mediated negotiations should be the right steps forward. At this juncture, let me take my leave so that the President of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia can attend to your needs as the press. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you in advance, Mr. President, for taking the time to do this.
Thank you very much, Professor Table. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the script that was just read there by Professor Table has been sent to you. If you have not received, please kindly indicate in the comment section. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Madam Speaker of the House, esteemed members of Cabinet, and all due protocols respected, I would like to use this opportunity to present to you the press we have here today. We have a representation from Brazil, representation from Nigeria, representation from the Cameroons, from the UK, and from Australia. We have about 12 journalists here present, some of whom are representing their press houses. It is worthy to note that we have the biggest radio station across Africa, that is Radio Nigeria, capably represented, and TVC from Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, please, you have the opportunity to ask one question and probably a follow-up question. If your question has already been asked, then you should kindly just do a follow-up or ask another question. Thank you very much. We want to apologize again for the late start, and we plead that you may give us 10 more minutes so that we will have the President squarely respond to your needs. Thank you, Mr. President. If you want to ask your question, please just do so with a show of a hand. Yes, Fortune, the floor is yours.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. President. Good afternoon, colleagues across the world. This is Fortune Aban from News Agency of Nigeria. My question is in line with the last speech, and I really want to find out because the issue of annexation is almost triggering cold wars that no one can really define its end. Talking about the speech, you said she made mention of annexation. Is it that the referendum is basically to avoid the tendencies of southern Cameroon being annexed, or your call is basically to fight for the sovereignty of that region, of that entity, and also to walk in line with the laws? Because if we check by history, permit to call Israel in terms of its wars and its crisis today is based on issue of annexation. Russia, Ukraine today is still based on annexation. China, Taiwan is still based on annexation. Trying to avoid it and the supremos trying to prove a point that it is by law its own. So can we just get this straight on point that your call is basically on issue of annexation rather than what is anticipated in terms of the referendum you're calling a shot? Thank you.
Mr. President, you're muted.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Aban. Our problem is rightly a problem of annexation. We were granted the right to join with the Republic of Cameroon in a new structure, a new state structure, which will be the Federal Republic of the Cameroons. That is so described in the text of the United Nations. Then the joining did not take place, legally speaking. So what happened was, what has happened for these 61 years past, or 62, has been a de facto union, because the United Nations, by resolution 1608 of the General Assembly, prescribed what was needed, the legal ingredients that was necessary for that union to become a de jure union according to the text and the charter of the United Nations. That was not done. Instead, our other equal party that we chose to join decided to overrun the southern Cameroon, send gendarmes and their soldiers annex us, and the rest has been annexation. The rest has been assimilation. They have used force, they have used propaganda, they have used corruption in the international SAKO with the backing of the French to keep us in that state of a slave. So that is annexation, purely, because what we have today in the Cameroon does not reflect what the United Nations intended or prescribed. So we are there against our will. So we have restored, we have simply reaffirmed our separate existence as a country. And we are expecting that the United Nations, whose number one objective is to prevent conflict than to than to go because they don't have the means to go about resolving conflict. The number one objective should be to prevent. But unfortunately, as it has been, they are always coming at the end when millions of lives have been wasted. So we believe that annexation is a crime, just like colonialism, just like slavery, just like apartheid. They are crimes against humanity. So you don't resolve this by trying to give it some legal coloration. Simple. The United Nations should stand up to their own status and implement their own resolutions and review them when there is conflict, when it goes bad like this, because they were the origin of this experiment. So we are calling on them to just simply interpret their own law. And those who voted yes for this experimental union, call it experimental because that's what it is. It only becomes a reality when it is confirmed. It becomes legal. It becomes official in record in the United Nations. It is not. So looking at our problem as one of annexation would rightly position us and make it clear why we cannot expect a referendum to be the solution. We have to put our case alongside other cases, like you mentioned Israel, you mentioned Ukraine. The world will not accept. Up to now, they are rejecting the referenda that are being organized by Russia in Donbass and other areas of Ukraine. They say because that cannot. Then how can anyone contemplate? I cannot even say the international community is proposing a referendum to us because they have not. Or have they? They have not. I don't know any one international stakeholder who has come out and said, we propose that this issue be resolved by a referendum. There are just some Southern Cameroon stakeholders who are proposing to themselves a referendum. Simple. They are thinking aloud, probably, or trying to strategize in a strategy that I call one of capitulation or surrender. Because you cannot be talking of referendum as a means of acceding to independence if you had been independent before. Unless you have not been independent. If you have been independent before, you cannot ask for a referendum to determine if you were independent or not. So that's why it is all wrong. And I'm only waiting for any time the international community will officially present to us that as a proposal, then we shall respond. Or Cameroon will dare propose that to us, then we will respond. People, those are things that are only said when people meet on the table and some proposals come to the table. Then we discuss them. It's unfortunate that some amongst us decided to even make this an issue of discussion at this time. La Republic were the first who actually seceded because they are the ones who refused to sign a treaty of union with us. They are the ones who reverted to their former name after they considered the experiment as failed. Because their process was one of assimilation, not a union of two states of equal status. When they reverted to their former name, they literally withdrew from the de facto union or experiment. So we have simply reaffirmed what the reality is. Then somebody will come and propose a referendum to us. Who is proposing a referendum to La Republic?
Thank you, Mr. President. Moyo, Thomas, the floor is yours. You can unmute yourself. Fortune, I've sent the document again to you. Just check the platform. Moyo, please, you can unmute and ask your question. Okay, we're going to take Fortune Abang. Fortune Abang, do you want to ask a question?
To follow up. Also. So yes, ask.
He just asked the question now, Padilla.
Okay, then I'll take Joe. Joe, please kindly unmute and ask your question.
Sorry, President, please, I just wanted to ask again. Your thought was well taken, quite taken. But what happens if the UN fails? What are the conditions, or what should the public, the international community, know as a ground rule for this?
The UN is failing for 7 years now, because what they were supposed to do was simply to come in immediately, because this is their territory. This is their task. This is their unfinished task. This is what they started that did not go well. So they are failing. But if by any means peace is not found through diplomatic intervention, then the war continues. It means they have voted for continuation of the genocide that is ongoing. And who knows what conflict does when it is not resolved? It will only grow and spiral. Because those who think that they can wish a conflict away are naive. They don't even understand how this works, or they are wicked. Because many more lives will go. When the people have decided that, when a woman has decided that enough with this marriage, because I thought you will marry me, and you have refused to sign even a marriage certificate with me for all these years, and I'm going. And the international community is somebody there is there wishing that somehow the powerful party, the husband, if you can use enough force to keep that woman in the house, it's legal. When you do that, it means you have decreed violence. Because people will always find a way to get their rights and get their freedom, get their desires. This is not people, this is a people issue. The people of the Southern Cameroon. This is not one individual. They will look around, find here and there, and then kill him like that's been done in some cases. This is the people have risen and they said, no, justice must be done. So if the United Nations or international community and all stakeholders don't do anything, it means they are choosing to allow violence in that part of Africa, in the Southern Cameroon, continue. And to tell you the truth, people will fight. When it comes to freedom, our people are willing to fight, because we discovered that the only way where this issue can be resolved is if we stand up for what belongs to us. If we stand up for what is right. For 7 years we have been doing so, and we intend to do so until reason will prevail.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thomas Moyo, can you unmute?
Paddy, I read a message on the chat. Mr. Moyo Thomas says the host doesn't allow him to unmute, but there is no restriction. Everybody can unmute themselves, so it might be your device, Mr. Thomas Moyo. So please, if you can log out and log back in, maybe that will help. Everybody can unmute anytime they want to unmute. Thank you.
In the meantime, Joe, please. Randy?
Yeah, thank you very much. This press conference is holding just a couple of hours after the killing of a journalist in Bamenda. And this journalist or his colleagues would have probably been part of this press conference. He is not able to do so. Many other journalists are not able to do so. And this is sort of it indicates the urgency with which people back here on the ground want this conflict to end. As you focus on the international community in this press conference, I would ask you, what really do you want the international community to do in terms of resolving this conflict? What specific actions would you want to happen from their part? Thank you.
I will call on the conscience of the international community at this time, because I think they know what is right and what is wrong. As far as this conflict is concerned, this is not a lecture about what is right and what is wrong. The United States, Canada, the French, the British, the EU, they know what is right and what is wrong in this matter. But I will only appeal to their conscience, because without the right conscience, there will be no political will. And I'm saying that the problem of freedom, the right of freedom or the rights of freedom are not just for some and not for others. Because how many more journalists, because I don't even know where to start, how many more journalists will be killed in Cameroon, in the Cameroons, in Amazonia, before the matter gets the attention of the Human Rights Commission of the United Nations, or of course the Security Council, to take some measures? It's the international. So that is what is that's troubling. How many more? So it's a matter of conscience here. It's a matter of conscience, because they know all these things. They know what is right, wrong. In some countries, just a percentage, 1% of what has happened to freedom in Amazonia, to our freedom, to our basic freedom, to our right, 1% of it would have already cost the whole world mobilized with sanctions and threatening intervention and give visa bans and even send jets to fly the airspace of Cameroon to make sure peace, to make sure to serve as warning. But if this is not going on yet, it's unfortunate. If the West does not support the rights of the common people, and they continue to defend bad leaders, dictators, because of their interests, they are just building time bombs that when they explode, we don't even know. We cannot tell their magnitude in the future. Because the future does not belong to those people. The future belongs to the people. It does not belong to leaders. The future belongs to the people. So I can only make an appeal to their conscience. I know they are very reasonable and very, very, very learned and well informed about what is going on. But until the conscience of a man is touched, he will not be willing to do the right. So I pray that leaders of conscience in the international community should join us and cry loud. Help us to overcome this cloud, this suppression that is going on the media. You'll be shocked that what you're expressing here, you will not hear it in the main Western media that actually inform their political thought. So they make sure there's a deliberate blackout so that these questions will not come to the leadership. But we have to find ways to reach out to the leaders of conscience and continue in our own way to spread this word about what is going on, just so that somehow some good people amongst them will step out and do the right thing. And stop this. Because it's a complete culture of the impunity that's going on. Abacha only he only was just accused of electoral malpractice and is it a coup d'etat? And he was removed from the Commonwealth. Mugabe they said because he rigged an election, he was removed from the Commonwealth. Everybody around the world, they were pouncing on Mugabe. They look at him, a more than Mugabe is in charge of Cameroon. A more than Mugabe is prosecuting a genocidal war for 7 years against us, killing thousands of people with impunity. Today is this journalist. Tomorrow is which one? Today is this pastor. Tomorrow is another bishop. And nothing, no one even fears that anything can happen to them because their interest is secured by a dictator who tomorrow will not be there. I will tell you that those who invest on dictators are not investing in the future. Ufet ruled for 27 years. Where is he today? And where is Cote d'Ivoire today? Ahidjo was there for 22 years. Bia is 40 years. Do you know what will happen next? When he goes. Mobutu was there for 32 years. Those who invested in Mobutu. Where is Mobutu? When Mobutu died and was no more, what became of Zaire? Okasa was there for 14 years. They invested in him and he left instead of investing on the people. When he died, when he left power, what became of Central Africa today? Wars and wars and wars. Zaire, wars and wars and wars. In Mali, they invested in Moussa Traoré for 22 years. When he lost power, what became, that's what spiraled to what we have today. Those who invest in the people and listen to the cries of the people are wise because they are looking into the future. Those who hang their hopes in evil leaders, bad leaders, killers, murderers, genocidaires, because of their interests, have sacrificed the future.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll plead with you all to wait so we can take Brazil. They will need an interpreter before we continue. I understand, Moyo, you're now available.
Yes, please.
Okay, just give your question. Right after that, we will take Brazil before we continue with questions. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. President, my question starts from the briefing we had with you 2021. You talked about the genocide that was going on. I want to ask, is that still happening or has there been a solution to that? And then you talked about the UN, the call for UN to do something about the situation happening, what is happening to Amazonia. Have you made any other move beyond speaking with media? Recently, I mean in recent times, have you attended the General Assembly to make a case on this? And what was the outcome? And then you, while speaking earlier, you also say that I want a clarification on that. Did you say you want Cameroon to sign a treaty of union with you, with Amazonia? I mean, is that what you said, or did I not get that right? Thank you.
Okay, Moyo, are you representing TVC?
Yes, Moyo, I report for TVC News, Abuja, Nigeria. Okay, my final question also, is there a special appeal you're making from Nigeria? Do you have any special appeal Amazonia is making to Nigeria or seeking from Nigeria?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moyo. Thank you. Here's the genocide is ongoing, has been ongoing since 2017. If it has changed, it is only now on steroids. Because when a man starts committing crime, he has the fear of the law. When he has committed crime to a point where even the police cannot, they have not made any attempt to stop him, then he goes on steroid. He thinks he's a god, thinks nothing can stop him. He fears no one. Now he can kill anyhow. That's what is going on now. The genocide is going on that they extract anyone in Amazon. The French Cameroon walks into any community, extract anyone that on the road, whether on in the checkpoint, anyone they just point. You just need to point your finger at somebody and say it's one of them. They extract you. They summarily just kill you. They extract them early in the morning, about 4 a.m. They walk into any house, into whole communities, extract people from their sleep, take them outside. They disappear them after a week. Before you know it, they are found somewhere in one part of the town, slaughtered and thrown to the bush like dogs. That is what is going on now, because they have discovered that they can do so now, and nobody cares, and nobody will talk about it. That CNN will not be there, that Associated Press will not be there, that BBC will not talk about it, that Fox News will not say anything about it. The tabloids will not care about it. So they have just discovered that whatever they are doing, and the French is helping them to do, is working. So now the killing is on him. They kill babies. They have thrown babies into oil, boiling oil. And some of these things, we have them in pictures and in camera. Nobody has done anything. Those the perpetrators, why should they be afraid of it? What should stop them? No. They had a conscience, they would have not started the first. The only thing that can stop them now is the fear of retribution. But that is absent. So what we have now is total mini-gods who move all over Amazonia with total impunity, and they kill whosoever because they are Amazonians, because they are Southern Cameroon, because they don't fit into their political mold. They don't want to remain slaves. They don't accept assimilation. They dare to question their oppressor or their annexationists, or they dare to ask for their rights. So, especially anyone who dares to say, hey, no, I disagree, wait, watch and see, 2-3 days, whether in writing or in social media, they trace them from anywhere, and they go silently and take them out. That's what is going on right now. But the international conspiracy has made that the numbers have not changed since 2007. When you read the international reports, they will tell you 3,000, more than 3,000. When they started, they say about 3,000. About 3,000 have been killed. Then after about 3,000, they start saying 3,000 have been killed. Then after 3,000, they say more than 3,000 have been killed. But some of their press has not been so collaborative on those lives. Some of them have said it. I read a report recently of Amnesty International talking of about 6,000. Very soon they will say 6,000, then they will say over 6,000. The reports we have as the people who are affected, who are burying our own, more than 50,000 of ours have died. And many have died as a consequence of the war. I mean, those they have killed, about 50,000+, and many more than that number have died as a consequence of war. Because some were not shot with a bullet, but hunger killed them. Some died in the bushes trying to give birth. So that is what is happening. We are not just speaking to the media. We have broken glass ceilings to be heard at this, to even be where we are today, to even have EU resolutions on our issue, to have congressional resolutions on our issue, to even have whole government interested to mediate in this conflict. We are working behind the scenes and talking to everyone, hoping that somebody will see that they need to do the right thing, despite the huge interests that will be at stake for some. So we could not, it's not easy for us to have access to the United Nations directly, but we can find, we are looking for people who can talk on our behalf, because not being a member, United Nations is a club. It's a club. And woe betide you if your enemy, a criminal, is a member of that club and you are not. So what do club members do? They favor their own. They stand with their own. They have more relationships built with their own than you. So that's what is happening. It's not easy. If it was just if the international community was just ruled by wrong and right, we will be in the United Nations telling them exactly what is going on. But the French are there with their veto power. And the rules have been made. They were not made with us in mind. They were made for their club members. And we only need another nation, strong leaders, people who want to do the right thing, who will say, you know what, we are here for international peace. These people have an issue, it should be addressed. It started here, it should end here. So we are hoping, we are talking to people who can talk on our behalf. We are not asking the Republic to come and sign the Treaty of Union. We are only telling them that we did not sign one. You cannot annex us for 61 years. Then when we want to ask the foundation of our legal existence as a nation, you kill thousands of us. Then at the end, you come and even wag a piece of paper before us called Treaty of Union. Say, let us now sign the Treaty of Union that we did not sign 61 years ago. To what end? So that you do what? So that what happens? We are not going to sign a Treaty of Union with one who has already, just like somebody goes into courtship with a woman and maltreats that woman for about 7 years courtship. Then when the matters escalate, the man said, okay, for us to solve this problem, let's go and sign the marriage certificate. Just imagine, how is that going to be? I think the family of the woman will ask the man, are you serious? Are you okay upstairs? Because that is not the solution to a broken courtship. Our special appeal to Nigeria is that let Nigeria follow the judgment of their own court, which appealed to the Attorney General to take the matter to the ICJ to determine who was the border of who was the neighbor of Nigeria, the Eastern Maritime Border, who shared the Eastern Maritime Border with Nigeria as an independence on the 1st of October, 1960. The court in Abuja, is it Abuja? Yes. Passed that judgment that the Attorney General should, was it in 2003? I don't know. 2002?
Yes.
Okay. So let them simply do the right thing and help us. It will go a long way to resolve this matter legally, and to make it clear to some who don't understand that they are dealing with a separate and independent country called the Southern Cameroon. Let Nigeria do their thing, not in our favor, but let them respect their law. Let them go to ICJ, as was recommended by their court, to determine who was in their borders. That will help us resolve the Bakassi issue even better than the Green Tree Accord, whatever, or to help to adjudicate this matter even better. And because if they do that, they will go a long way to resolve the issue. They will take a better position when they understand that the Southern Cameroon and Bazonia, we are actually their neighbor. We are international neighbors with them. And then they will act as according to the law, international law, so that they will do the right thing. Instead of siding with a club member called La République du Cameroon and totally ignore international law, like what they did in 2017, 2018, when they helped to abduct our leaders and they took them, gave them over to French Cameroon, and they are today serving life sentences. And their court has also ruled that that was not right. So if they did something and was not right, and their club members are still holding the ones that they took from Nigeria, they gave them, part of the appeal to Nigeria is to go back to their club member and say, no, we did the wrong thing. Let's do what is right. Release those people and let them come back to Nigeria. The next thing I'm appealing to is that they should treat our refugees well, help them. Once upon a time, there was a war in Nigeria. Ambazonia was a safe haven for the refugees who left Nigeria because of the war. One good turn deserves another. Let them treat them with care, if not for any reason, but as fellow Africans, and not make life difficult for them, like some corrupt law enforcement officers can decide to do. Work with the warmongers of Yaoundé and start rounding up our refugees who are running to get cover, just protection, who just want protection. So I'm feeling that I want to congratulate the journalists, the press, the church, and the state government of Cross River and Araba, and to a large extent, to some extent, Akwa Ibom and others within that environment who have done a lot to help our people at least survive. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sosika, please kindly allow us to take Brazil. We'll have to connect them, about 2 of them, so they can have some translation. Dr. Commando, do you want to ask them to come on the screen?
Oh, Pastor Javier, agora é o seu turno, por favor. Abra o seu microfone e faça a sua pergunta.
Ok, pastor Ivo. Mr. President, graça e paz, que fala o jornalista Xavier do Brasil.
This is Xavier, journalist from Brazil.
Gostaria de fazer uma pergunta.
I'd like to ask a question.
Gostaria de saber como está a situação hoje,
I would like
nesta
to know
luta
the situation today of
pela independência
this plea for independence
da Amazônia. O que mudou do passado para esse ano?
What has changed from last year to this year?
E o que o mundo está fazendo e o que o Brasil pode fazer para contribuir
What is the world doing and what Brazil can do
com o processo de independência do Brasil,
to assist with the process,
com a independência da Amazônia?
with the independence of Amazonia?
O que nós, como brasileiros, podemos fazer
What
para
we as
contribuir
Brazilians
mais com
we
esse
can do
processo?
to contribute with this process?
Yes, so Javier, thank you for the question.
Obrigado pela pergunta.
The situation is persistent. It does not change.
A situação é persistente e não tem mudado.
the international community is timidly talking about the problem.
A comunidade internacional está falando sobre o problema muito timidamente.
Because the United Nations that's supposed to take the bull by the horn is silent.
A organização que poderia pegar o touro pelo chifre, United Nations,
and
Nações Unidas,
and the powerful international actors are simply making they are just talking about they are just making resolutions to condemn, to continue to condemn what is going on. But that's not what we need now. We need action to restore justice.
Os atores que poderiam fazer alguma coisa estão apenas censurando e não estão fazendo ações. Nós precisamos de ações agora.
Some progress. We were seeing some progress until when other conflicts started happening, especially that of Ukraine, and now Sudan.
Nós temos visto alguns progressos do que está acontecendo agora lá na Ucrânia.
Remember, in the resolution of international conflicts, there are more than 30 conflicts around the world. When one conflict happens, it eclipses another.
Tem mais de 30 conflitos no mundo. E quando um acontece, ele eclipsa o outro.
So that is why, at this point in time, we will continue to sound the alarm.
Por isso que nós, nesse momento, vamos soar o alarme. Nós temos que.
Now, what can Brazil do?
O que o Brasil pode fazer?
The people of Brazil
O povo do Brasil
can give us support, because whatever is happening, our people are going through an unpleasant situation.
Pode nos dar apoio, porque tudo que fizer entra como uma instituição.
Lives are being wasted, and our refugees are in terrible situations right now.
Vidas estão sendo desperdiçadas e os nossos refugiados estão numa situação terrível.
So the people can easily, with or without their leadership, extend a hand, organize and extend a hand of assistance to the people of Amazon.
Podem estender a mão e organizar uma assistência à Amazônia.
But the people can also help us to influence, to reach out to leadership and influence leadership to stand for what is right.
Yes. E também pode influenciar as lideranças para se manterem firmes e levantarem contra o que está acontecendo.
The people of Brazil understand the fight against colonialism and colonial interests in Africa.
O povo brasileiro entende a luta contra o colonialismo.
So this is one of them, probably one of the last remaining in Africa.
E esse é dos últimos colonialismos na África.
Helping us to reach out to leadership, political leadership, to stand on our side will be a wonderful solution.
Ajude-nos a chegar às lideranças políticas para que tragam soluções.
Brazil will be able, for example, to take our matter to the United Nations General Assembly to be as an item agenda.
O Brasil pode levar esse assunto para as Nações Unidas como uma agenda.
Or they can help us to take the matter to the ICJ so that this matter can be adjudicated by the International Court, because it involves international treaties.
E pode levar também para a ICJ e para a Corte Internacional como tratado.
Yes, it is called the International Court of Justice, ICJ.
ICJ, Corte Internacional
de Justiça, da Justiça.
It will not cost Brazil anything. It's just the will to do right.
Não vai custar nada para o Brasil, é só a vontade de fazer.
And if possible, they can. Brazil is also a country with enormous influence in the subcontinent.
E o Brasil, ele é país de muita influência no subcontinente.
They can help us they can facilitate our contacts with some other countries within the sub-region to find some who will stand with us, just to get this matter admitted in the General Assembly for discussion, for example, in September.
Pode nos ajudar a levar esse assunto em setembro.
Presidente, gostaria de perguntar, quando o senhor virá ao Brasil para ter uma reunião com o nosso presidente Lula, para que possa solicitar pessoalmente a ele, pois o presidente Lula está fazendo aqui no Brasil um trabalho em prol de outras nações e acredito que ele também não hesitaria em poder fazer alguma coisa para ajudar a Amazônia. Haja visto que nós todos somos um povo irmão descendente de um só povo. Muito obrigado, vice-presidente.
Question is, when will you be able to come to Brazil to have a meeting with our President Lula? Because our President Lula, in the international scenario, is doing a good job on pleading to nations that are going through some situations like that. So, when you're coming to Brazil? Thank you very much for the time.
Okay. Pastor Javier and my friend Pastor Jaza.
Yes.
When I'm coming, you will be the first to know.
Quando eu for, vocês vão ser o primeiro a saber.
So our team in Brazil will work on that. So I cannot tell you when, but it should happen as soon as possible.
Eu não vou dizer quando, mas eu vou fazer isso o mais rápido possível.
Gaza, você tem uma pergunta? Faz direto.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes.
With the war in Ukraine, with Russia and the eyes of NATO and many countries in Europe, United States, China, everybody's looking to this war. Is this weakening the plea for Amazonia?
Yes. It is taking away attention and resources that's supposed to have been used toward the resolution of some other conflicts, not just that of Palestine. But international community has also multitasked and knows what multitasking is. They are not just meant to resolve one conflict at a time. They work on multiple conflicts at the same time. What is needed to solve this problem by the interested international community is not as much as what is needed to resolve the conflict in Ukraine. That's a multi-billion, maybe one day we'll get to trillions. That's what is happening right now. But for us, it doesn't take all that because our issues have a legal foundation. So they can just activate the legal framework to resolve this, and it will cost them nothing. They could just, by just a simple resolution of the United Nations, they can do this. Because what is empowering the annexation is the Yaoundé. It is the assurance that they can do this with impunity. They know the law is not on their side. They know that whatever they're doing is not right. But they have been assured that they have seen that they can do it and nothing will happen to them and no one can stop them. So I can tell you that if the United Nations want to solve, or not just all the international stakeholders want to solve this problem, they will not spend $1 million of what they are spending to resolve, to get or help resolve other conflicts like ours. Because our own is simple. It's so simple. They will simply interpret their own laws and say, you know what, this is what happened, this is what it should be. Unless upon resolution, upon a peaceful resolution, La Republic of Cameroon rejects that solution and decides to double down on war, then probably some resources must be put in place to ensure that if they enforce that judgment. Otherwise, it can just be as simple as that. La Republic is already weak morally, and they have no argument on their side. The only argument they have is that of force. And if you can just telling them that they have to do the right thing and passing a resolution of the United Nations or Security Council, that can just be enough. And I mean that we need well-meaning members of that club who just want to do right, who just want to do what is right, who see that this is a matter of right or wrong, and this is right, this is wrong, and are ready to talk on our behalf and make sure that that matter is presented. That's why I love Brazil, because of they have demonstrated that they can think independently when need arises. So we need such a people who can think independently, who don't have to take a phone and call somebody in the European metropolis and say, do you want me to take this position or not? They can think independently. And they can be able to evaluate this situation for what it is and help us and to just say, you know what, this thing should be added in our agenda. If they decide to to vote it out, no problem. But somebody should rise up and say,
yeah,
let's talk about this. So I think that we have a chance despite the conflict, because our own is not, and it's costing the people of Venezuela. It's not so expensive to resolve. It's not so hard to resolve, because they are not even going to carve our borders. Our borders were already carved in 1930 by the League of Nations. So all the pillars of our country, everything is already there. So we were granted independence. They're just going to say, hey, stop, hush, it's over. We're not going to accept this bloodshed. No more genocide. This union was not did not materialize, was not consummated legally, and therefore the solution is not killing each other forever. So the right thing should be done. That's all. Let us see what the Republic will do then. So we still have hope that everything can still be done, no matter the multiplicity of conflicts that we have all over the world at this time.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Andrew Soseka, please. And this may be our last question. I just saw you coming in, Hamzi, James Kovner. If the content we've provided so far is not satisfactory, indicate in the comment section so you can ask a question. But this may be our last question. Andrew, please.
Okay, Mr. President, I have a question. I know in conflicts of this magnitude, a lot boils down to diplomacy. I don't know what you and your team have been doing so far, but I wish to know whether there are any actions diplomatically to convince other states to back their cause the same way it's done in Ukraine and the same way it's done in other conflicts of similar nature, but at least you have one ally to first of all start with. Because over the years, we've discovered that no one has come out publicly to back this, and that's why a lot of action only ends halfway. Let me put it that way. Are you doing something to convince us diplomatically to end this conflict sooner than expected?
Andrew, please, can you tell the House you're representing?
Yeah, I am representing the Post newspaper in the Cameroon. Our head office is in Boya, so I'm from Boya.
Okay. Yes, Stan. It is true that conflicts of this magnitude can be resolved through diplomatic channels. They can also be resolved otherwise. But resolving them through diplomatic channel is the best because it will avoid bloodshed, more bloodshed. If diplomacy is successful to resolve the conflict and stop the guns and win the peace, then more lives will be saved. But diplomacy is just one of the tools that can be used to resolve a matter like this. As you can guess, the Republic is not for diplomacy, because even in diplomacy, it's not just interest. Justice and reason must prevail. They have none of that. They have no reason on their side. They have no law on their side. So they are locked in a logic of war as a military, with the military option to resolve the problem. Any actions we are taking diplomatically, yes. In diplomacy, you first of all establish relationships, then you leverage those relationships to achieve your end. We are doing so. Now, when we talk of backing by the international community or stakeholders, it is at different levels that a stakeholder can back it. So that's what we're experiencing. It is not right to say that we have no backing, because they are the ones who engineered the Swiss trust, where they said both sides should meet on the table and resolve this matter amicably. They are the ones who engineered it. They are the ones who sponsored it. That process failed for lack of the will to do more than just engineering the process. If you're not willing to back up the process to enforce a law, don't make one. If they thought that the oppressor, the annexationist, was just going to walk to the table unwillingly to come and surrender without some pressure, then they also made a mistake. So to that extent, we can say they did not back us publicly. But I am not unaware that they make calls, press some pressure points to make their own to come. But for a certain period, I think up to now, their president has been, of the Republic has been absent. It just has been a near vacancy situation in Yaoundé. Now, trying to understand who pulled the plug in Yaoundé has been difficult. That's what I was told. Trying to know the go-to person in Yaoundé, the one who has the final say, trying to reach that individual has been a problem. So we have had backing from the international stakeholders at different levels. But what we have not had is the one that is supposed to have taken this, taking this bull by the horn and go all the way to make sure that the party, the unwilling party, the state party of La République du Cameroon, who is benefiting from the military option, who thinks that we don't have arms, we are not armed enough, we are not able to stand it. We want to sacrifice justice and use the military option to suppress us, to keep us by all means. We have not got the kind of backing that would have told La République to their face that no. Because apparently there is a lot of interest that the criminal regime is guaranteeing on that side, and we are still hitting the doors, hoping they will crack, and these people will do the right thing this time around, pressure the unwilling party. We have even, our people have even attended meetings they should not attend, hoping that the Republic was there, like in Canada, the Republic was not there. But some of our people were there. But where is the muscle to bring the Republic to the table, to do what is right? We have not seen it. And we are hoping that those who have helped us this far, who have understood, who think that this problem should be resolved, these stakeholders should do more. We are asking for more, not that they have not been informed. They are, but we are asking for more. We are asking for what we need to resolve the conflict, not just lip service or actions that when they are aborted by the Republic, there is no follow-up, there are no consequences.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity of this press conference. I believe we've come to a close. Perhaps you would like to give your closing remarks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen of the press, you have a wonderful responsibility to humanity, because you are the eyes of society. You know a little more than the ordinary man. You see a little more than the ordinary eye. You see right and you see wrong. You see the truth and you know the lie. You know where there's propaganda and where there's the truth. Many times you have put yourself, your lives on the line, because you cannot be silent. Because if you are silent, what happens to the million that no, they don't know what you know, and they have no one to speak for them? They will all perish. Whole generations perish. For you and your pen, you have been given a responsibility by your Creator to be where you are now. You will not be remembered by what you have. You will be remembered by what you did for others. Let me tell you, after we all depart, 10 years, 20, 40, 50 years, they will only remember you for what you stood up for the benefit of others. I challenge you to help us, to be the voice where we are not heard. Help us. What we are sharing here is our experience. It's not a novel. This is what is happening. They said never again in Rwanda, but right now it is happening next door. I say next door because the world is a village. It's happening next door. It is in the southern Cameroon, Sambazo. And many people are completely in a blackout. This is something that should be in the news everywhere around the globe because of what is happening. But you cannot do it all, but you can do the best. And God will do the rest. Please help us. As you write your story, you're writing for somebody who cannot write. You're talking for somebody who cannot even express himself, who is suffering the consequences of evil and injustice in the southern Cameroon. I count on you. May God count on you.
Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you for coming. We've come to an end. Fellow Amazonians, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the logical conclusion of the press conference with the President Samuel Ikome SAKO this afternoon. Because of the question from the TVC representative, we have our legal minds have sent a document which I forwarded to you on your platform. All the journalists could make proper use of it. I understand James Kopner could not ask a question, but he's satisfied with the questions that have been asked. I'm also calling on Kum to have the president follow up of this interview on your platform, kindly do so. And TVC, please work with Ifani and we send to make sure that we have the president for a follow-up of this interview soonest possible. Thank you once again for coming. This is a relationship we're creating. It's not all about the, the press conference. We are hoping that this relationship will be sealed and will stay. It was easier for us to organize this second press conference for this year because of the relationship we started early this year. We're hoping that for the subsequent that will be coming as the year is drawing close to an end, we intend to have a third of this around September, and we will definitely pre-notify you. Thank you. Thank you. We cannot say thank you enough for clearing your schedules and choosing to be a part of this. Thank you very much. If you need any information that will help you to process your stories accurately, do not hesitate to ask. But I will proactively work in liaison with the government to give to you some documents which I think you can add with the press statement you already have. You have an exclusive right to use the content of this press conference that you participated in at your various press houses. Thank you.
Our vision in this interim government is to make ABC a leader and a real warhorse of our struggle. We want to grow it, expand it, hire and train more hands, and broadcast round the clock, around the world, and take command of the media space of this world.
You can enjoy all round the clock 24/7 exclusive moments of bliss as an ABC Amber TV Club member. A cappella. Latest Nigerian / African movies, global politics, ABC Amber News and updates, historical documentaries, and lots more. In our daily programs, we have Undaunted, ABC Amber News, bringing into the news untold stories with Onyi Okpala and Star Smart. Exclusive discussion, revolutionary panel conversation, infotainment, edutainment, intro governmental debates on topical issues with Tar Paddy King, State of the Liberation Movement, Fronting IG and People of Ambazonia's position, the Struggles Weekly Update with Secretary Martin Mungwa, PhD, FASC. Health is Wealth, Health Education and Awareness within the Ambazonian community with Dr. Yaya. Liberation Prayer, an intercessory ministry for Ambazonia with Pastor Victor Mba. Our Freedom, spiritual awareness and education for the Ambazonian community with Pastor Victor Mba and Pastor Commando. Church and Politics, neutralizing the myths and preconceived religious and political philosophies that limit the Christian involvement in the realms of decent politics with Pastor Commando. The Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman with Dr. Patience Abiedo and Lady Casey. Our Amber History, bringing to limelight the hidden history of Ambazonia to the world with Pastor Commando. Appointment on community building, education on patriotism within the Ambazonian communities with Ma Rachel Itatima. Ethics for an Emerging Nation, watchdog of basic principles and morals of a nation at war with Ma Dorothy Ngwa. Upcoming programs: Pigeon News, Vernacular Talk Show, County Roots, Activists Corner, Amber Focus, only on ABC Amber Television. We the people, the voice of the voiceless. For 24/7 access, subscribe as a club member on www.abcambertv.com/subscribe. Payment method: www.abcambertv.com/donate. ABC Amber TV payment channels: Cash App 202-650-2216, Zelle 240-486-8768, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. PayPal donations at abcambertv.com. For more details, call +124 028 43 111. You can email us at info@abcambertv.com.
Yes, and finally, for those of you who are watching us on all our different platforms at Homefront, we'll be back at 8 p.m. Amber time with some members of government to have a look into some of the things the president said and to go through the press statement again. It's important that ABC Amber TV will present the report and their own analysis as we look forward to other reports. So see you with Undaunted at 8 p.m. Amber time.
Payment method: www.abcambertv.com/donate. ABC Amber TV payment channels: Cash App 202-650-2216, Zelle 240-486-8768, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. PayPal donations at abcambertv.com. For more details, call +124 028 43 111. You can email us at info@abcambertv.com. Payment method: www.abcambertv.com/donate.